every other day of the week, there's always turkeys out here. Usually right here by now. They, if I haven't got the corn out yet, they're up here eating. They're up here eating from my bird feeder. But anyway, I used to have a squirrel that would come out that branch and just let itself go, just kind of fly and land on. Oh man, it's getting a little bit. It did not like last night's weather. Oh, there we go. Now it's a lot easier to drink water that's already 32 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, zero Celsius, rather than having to eat snow. That really cools their body temperature down a lot more. I use the bird baths. Plus you'll see them out here along the rim with their heads over it, just like, oh, getting a steam bath. Hi, we're Heather and Aurel Coutu, and we live in Pontypool on Valley Duff Road. We're in the Oak Ridges Moraine, and we have 200 acres here that we have been enjoying greatly with COVID because we haven't been able to go too far, so it's been very nice to just stay home and enjoy the land and the birds and the deer and things that are here. We all get together for family day and do that and enjoy some maple syrup in the bush. And we had Christmas out there last year when you couldn't do anything else. You know, it was okay to be outside, so we had Christmas in the sugar bush. Today I'm going to show you the reforested section of the farm that we have had thinned out so that we can have introduce some new tree species into the land there and hopefully bring in some new wildlife and birds. I'd like for someday someone to see 400-year-old trees that we planted there.
Yeah.
And I might even put in a little time capsule the roots of a few of them. My picture and my hope that life is good in 2420.
We wouldn't have gotten
done
anything
that good
without the Woodlot Association's help
that's right.
to put it all
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Because they knew all the different people around, because they were all talking to them saying, oh, we need this done. So, but we weren't talking to each other because we didn't know that someone else needed it. But when you go to the co-op, they all know, they all work together, and they do the entire thing rather than just piecemealing it with several different agencies.
Not only that, though, is educational too, right?
Very
because
educational.
you get to know the different species, the names of the different species of trees and brush and that, you know.
They knew everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me how open it is. Like, it used to feel so dark and mysterious in here all the time. They leave 4 and then they take 2. And that just opens things up so they get so much more light, and there will be more water available for the new trees that we plant. We're going to plant pine, or not pine, maple and oak and some deciduous in here, and the Woodlot Association is helping us with that. And apparently what happens is they leave these branches, but they provide wind protection and they hold moisture for the seedlings that they'll put in. And then after 3 years, the pine rots away, as well as the old stump, and you get the new tree. And by 3 years, it's well established and you're good to go. So then we'll have more diversification in animals as well, not just with the trees, because the different trees will attract different things. So it's an art. Someone that doesn't know what they're doing shouldn't just go out and do it. I don't cut my own hair for that reason. Yes, we did have this thing called dog strangling vine, and it was just overwhelming. And the property next door, especially when we bought it, it had a lot of open space, and you could not use any of it. My husband had to go through it with a farm tractor, with like a bush hog that you could, just clear cut it right down to the ground. So then you don't get any little trees or anything growing up either. So anyway, we wanted to get that fixed, and we were very glad to meet Jordan. He's an arborist, and he can, so you know he's doing it right. And they have all the gear, and there's a whole crew of them, and they really just come in and do the whole area in a day. So that's really, really good. I found out about all of them with the Corthaland Trust, I think, introduced me to the Woodlot Association and all those people that do this kind of thing. Because we're so close to the Ganaraska, I think that there's a chance that animals, I can't really buy all the land between here and there, but at least we'll provide some acreage that they can use here. And we have a bear actually that goes through here from the Gani every year. You see him in the fall. He's coming south, going towards the Ganaraska, and then in the spring he's going north. You see his footprints and scat occasionally. That's the worst with just pines, is it can be a real fire trap. Here it's just a super high acid soil. So, and that's, well, the only thing that would grow in here was that dog strangling vine. You couldn't get anything, not even grass would grow. But anyway, now that we're getting some more sun and moisture, it should be good. We'll have a chance to grow some other things. With the dog strangling vine gone too, it'll really open it up for other plants, natural plants. I want to start a little area of natural grass and see what, put a little camera there and see what eats it. Like, do the deer like it better than, say, this area? They're not really deer eaters, or deer aren't really grass eaters, but because it's a natural thing from years ago, I wonder if they'll be if they'll take to it right away. Most of the animals in the woods know me pretty well. If I just stop and say it's okay, they'll stop too. The turkeys, I'll get all flustered and start to run, but if I just stop and talk to them, they calm right down. And how tame they get in the winter. I carry them out a pail of corn in the morning, and within 10 minutes, it's like they're peeking out around the trees, watching, waiting for me. I've got 3 deer that I just love. There's one old female. She is so old. Her toes are like slivers now. They used to be big, you'd see big round tracks. But now it's just these 2 tiny little tracks. But she probably got no teeth either. She's probably 20 years old. But I think that's just marvelous, to see them get to just die of old age. There's amazing things like that. Like Ballyduff was quite a big town at one time. The neighbors they live in the old schoolhouse. That was 1868, I think it was built. And you'll see just a big patch where there's just a big patch of raspberries and lilacs out in the middle of the bush. The bank barn is right down there, and then the old house site. And the basement is probably 10 by 10. So that's what you had for indoor space back in those days. And then there's the barn where they had a few animals. But, you come out here sometimes in the early morning and you'll hear owls and all kinds of things. Or some people would maybe buy a cottage or something, To me, I'd rather just spend the money on the farm and enjoy it and just stay home. It has an interesting sound to it, doesn't it? It almost whistles. But it's not as loud as it used to be. And there's sun. It's so unusual to see sunlight in here. It's always dark. I could come out here in April or May, walk through the fields, through the mud, and with my skis, and then ski out here all day, because would be almost June before all the snow was gone. We had cattle. We had cattle, and yeah, we each had a horse, and we had cows. So we grew some hay and some corn for them. Yeah, we don't try and do it ourselves anymore. We used to try and do everything. Now he just grows crops. But we have we only let him use 80 acres, and then there's another 100 that is just left natural, and that's for the turkeys and the. Yeah, what he does is he'll plant wheat, and then he takes the chaff and takes it what is baled to a mushroom farmer, and the mushroom farmer takes it and he steams it so there's no weeds in it. And steaming is much better than killing them with poisons. He steams the bales, and then they grow their mushrooms in it all winter, and in the spring. The farmer goes and gets the bales again as manure, then brings them here and spreads it out on the land. And you've got a manure that's got no weeds in it, but is not killed chemically. The weeds aren't killed chemically. So, and everybody wins, You've got, the mushroom farmer doesn't have to grow his own wheat. He can get it from someone else. And the farmer he doesn't have cattle, so he just wants the manure to improve the soil. And especially here in the Oak Ridges Moraine, you really need something. You really need to put a compost type thing back. You really do. It's just amazing, the difference. I've lived here since the 70s, and it used to be a dust storm. And when you plowed everything, you would just get dust. My swimming pool would be that deep in dirt. And now that, first came no-till, and that's certainly an improvement. But now that he puts all of this manure on the top, we don't have any problem. The wind blows and there's no dust. It still smells lovely, doesn't it? There's one load left to go out. It looks like a little star. They talk about the rings, but when you look, there's almost like a little star in the center of the big ones. Very interesting. One time I came out here and there was coyote tracks. They had gone up and over. I don't know whether they were maybe trying to scare some mice out or what, but anyway. They had huge piles of them. They were everywhere, but this is all that's left. The more you can educate people about it, the better job they do, or the better people they hire. Because there are some people out there that are just bad at it and shouldn't be doing it. I have heard a few horror stories about messes, but.
We don't really know what kind of economic benefit there is going to be.
I don't. Yeah.
But even just a little bit is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Whether it will sustain you or not, we don't think so. But it's just nice to see it get recycled.
Yeah, and it's if they're mowing down all the trees in Brazil, then we should be planting more here. That's the way I look.